聞こえますか?
Yes,
No,
we
thank
can hear
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
Thank
can
you
hear
very
you.
much. And I would ask Miss Sakurai to also speak to see if we can hear her voice.
Yeah, of course. He can mute himself,
桜井
herself.
さん桜井さんパソコンの方にミュートを外して声を入れていただけますか？桜井様、パソコンの方にミュートを外して喋っていただけますか？
はい。はい、ミュート外れました。桜井です。
あります。
聞こえますか？
はい、あります。
はい、thank you very much.
It's okay. Thank you.
And there's another interpreter. Can you also unmute her? There's a second interpreter.
Which one?
The second interpreter. There are two interpreters.
Two. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I sent a request for. Yeah. Yeah.
This is the other interpreter. Can you now hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NGO CSW 66 Parallel Events in Taiwan. Today's topic is Cases of Women's Power Leading to Green Power, Experiences from Asia. Before we move on to the agenda, as moderator, I would like to have all the participants and our speakers learn about the rules for the conference. First of all, please mute yourself after entering the meeting room. If you have any comments or questions for the speakers, please leave them in the chat box. We will run discussion in the QA session. For the speakers, during your presentations, I will give you a reminder when you have 2 minutes left, and when time is up for the presentation. Thank you for your cooperation. We hope that everything goes well in the next 1 to 2 hours. Briefly introduce myself. I'm the moderator of the conference today. My name is Xingping Wu from the Homemakers United Foundation, in short, HUF. HUF was founded in 1989, and we believe that small changes from daily life could make systematic differences on big subjects such as climate change and energy transition. Therefore, during the past 30 years, HUF has been advocated to projects such as low carbon life, green consumption, and citizen energy. Citizen energy echoes the central promise of SDGs, leave no one behind. Specifically, SDG 7, ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Gender equality is also essential to ensure sustainable development as highlighted by UNESCO. We are glad to see in Taiwan and Japan, many citizen energy projects are led by women, and they all made systematically change. Sometimes we hear people say that women are more vulnerable when facing the extreme weather events. However, today, our speakers will show us that women could also play an important role when facing the climate change, such as the leaders of energy transition. We believe nowadays, women could deliver more value to the subject to offer ideas and leadership to the solutions of the problems. If we could have more women involved with energy policy making, it would help us to have multi-perspectives on sustainable vision. Speaking of multi-perspectives on sustainable vision, the model of cooperative could be an excellent example. Different than the common commercial model, The cooperative model, on the other hand, has a different decision-making process. To put long story short, one man, one vote. The Green Advocates Energy Cooperative, established in 2016 with over two-thirds of participants are women, was the first renewable energy cooperative in Taiwan. Now it's my pleasure to introduce to you the chairperson of Green Advocates Energy Cooperative, Ms. Shude Huang, to give us her speech, A Cooperative Way to Energy Transition in Taiwan, Women's Initiative for Climate Change. Let's welcome Ms. Huang.
Hi, everyone. It's my pleasure here to share what we have been doing in the past 5 years to you. And the topic that I'm going to share was a cooperative way to energy transition in Taiwan, Women's Initiative for Climate Action. And to briefly mention about what's the contents or the current situation of the energy consumptions or supplying in Taiwan. And in the left side is the map of Taiwan. But looking into the left side, if you can take a look into, there's a small island called the Kinmen Island, which is near on the west side of very close to China. I will mention in the very end of Kinmen. So currently, our energy is the whole consumption. We have a heavily dependent, which is a 98% import, which include coal, natural gas, and the oil. In terms of transportation and industry and household mobility as well. And there's per person, per capita, the annual carbon emission is about 12 metric ton, which is probably 2.5 times above the world's average. And if you look into the price of electricity, we have been enjoying a very cheap electricity, which is count for about one third of what Japanese are paying for their household electricity bill, which in turn will make our energy transition very difficult because industry and household usually don't spend the money willingly to change or to invest on the more highly efficient upgrading. And plus, in terms of power generation, currently the renewable energy account for only about 5.4% compared to what the nuclear power generation counts for 11.2. The next one will tell you about 82% of electricity generated currently in Taiwan. This figure is in 2020. 82% is from fossil fuel. And here to give you a brief idea of what our co-op, the name is called the Green Advocates Energy Co-op. And we have established in the October of 2016. So last October, we have celebrate our 5th anniversary by giving a small party among the members and telling what's our achievement so far. And just 2 days ago, this is the Arbor Day in Taiwan. We held our General Assembly, and we invited our first project, the housemaster or the homeowner, to share what what accounts or what changed their life after they have the solar power installed on their rooftop. And also there are other scholars or members that will share what they thought about and what's the current situation, what makes us we have a need to increase our capital investment altogether. So here is our the first day we established our co-op, and 76 initial members, and this is the first energy cooperative in Taiwan, and we do have a very close tie to Shuhuleimin. That means Homemakers Union, Consumers Co-op, it's a secure, and also the Homemakers Union Foundation. And about 80% of our initial founding members have a very close tie to these two women's organizations. And currently our membership, we have 273, and then plus another 6 corporate members. And so this is so far our current situation. And so for Homemakers United Foundation, although Xinping had just mentioned that officially established in 1989, but in fact we have been on the street advocating things in our activity in 1987. And why this is important, because the 1986 marked the Chernobyl disaster, which triggers a lot of environmental organization in Taiwan to be active at that time. And Homemakers Union Consumers Cooperative, we have the official establishment in 2001. The important thing is we put it as the global movement that leading us to build an alternative society, which says another world is possible for social economy establishment. And for Homemakers Unions, our Homemakers United Foundations, from day one, anti-nuclear power or anti-nuclear has been our backbone of movement. And because most of the housewives think this is unsafe, not to mention about the spent fuels and all the waste. And here we are staying in an island where the earthquake and is so frequent. So there's no safe place for us to put to all these nuclear reactor and all the waste. And here maybe Ms. Sakurai can mention later why we have 10 years ago, we have signed a declaration of or to establish a nuclear-free society among the 3 sisterhood cooperatives that are based in the East Asia, in Korea, Taiwan, and Japan, which would we commit ourselves to be in our own society and the community to promote the use and the investment on all the renewable energy. Cooperative should be an international, well, we can say it, it should be a kind of literacy, but it's just assumption, because for the younger generation or even in Taiwan, cooperative is not a well accepted or well perceived action movement. So collectively owned enterprise, or even it's a democratic control entity, was not that well received. So we put on our shared value and our common needs and aspiration to establish for from our common aspiration of moving from sustainable food to sustainable energy is what commonly, this is what we are trying to achieve. Okay. Okay, in the cooperative principle, again, it's not as the in the cooperator or the cooperative member. This is something that we usually know, but not in the other side of the society. So for establishing a new cooperative, it's a way to for us to make the cooperative again another public education perspective. And here comes we spend most of the energy in Taiwan to we use the most, unlike in Japan or in the United States, we're in the temperate zone. Here we're in a subtropical or tropical area that we spend the most of our energy actually combating or sustaining the heat from the sun. And our summertime will range from probably the mid-April to about the mid-October. So which means we have a very long summer. And here comparing the top floor of most of the building to sustain the weather where it's extreme heat and a lot of torrential rains, so that the house, the leakings is always a very troublesome for the house owner. So we usually will tend to put a steel roof top, but for the government, which you usually consider illegal when it's not registered. And here is sort of like a comparison that in Taiwan, if you went to the, if it comes to the southern Taiwan, the pineapple field, you will see a scene with pineapple fruits wearing hats. So that means we are in the weather that heat is something that we usually try to, and we talked about in the climate change or the extreme weather, what makes agriculture very difficult. This is one of the examples. And we have draw our confidence from a lot of the people that the forerunning ahead of us. For example, one of our bakery where in central Taiwan, in the end of 2014, spent the money to install a 32 kilowatts solar PV installation, just to directly using the sunlight when most of the baking activity occur in the daytime. And the bakery is committed to using 60% of the whole wheat flour that's grown in domestically in Taiwan. So it's a big commitment to both food and energy sovereignty. And also in the end of, near the end of November of 2015, we we would like to thank the Seekers Club Cooperative Union that accommodate us in the tour, studying tour, among all the NGOs and also in their own delivering center. We sort of like an eye wide opening about the large scales of installation in the food related sort of warehouse. We also paid the visit in 2014 to Korea, visit the Songdaegu, the community, how they have, they started with all the programs in their energy education activities. And here's some of the situation here in Taiwan, why all the community energy project mostly are solar PV and also rooftop type, not land-based. Because land-based, we usually compare it to the land grabbing, because the large scales of development project usually have money-driven or revenue-driven rather than accommodating the local opinions. And so even most of the wind farm development, the onshore type, or industry and foreign investment primarily. So feed-in tariff in Taiwan, we have the legal base from the Renewable Energy Development Act, which is in effect in 2009, which gave the foundation for the FIT scheme. And we may still enjoy it until the FIT, until probably the 2025, when that was the time the government set up to have the last nuclear reactor decommission. Is that what called the decommission? Okay. And so most of the citizens' energy projects are small-scale rooftop type, and we still face a lot of the obstacles and barrier. Primarily is the legal framework, not very friendly to the small-scale development, and the citizens' involvement in small project. And it's still difficult to get a finance loan from the bank unless the scale of the investment is more than 100 kilowatt in scale. And the cooperative, the energy cooperative, are not eligible for bidding because the economic scale is so small. Okay, and now I like to share 2 points about what our contribution or our achievement so far. First is to building partnership with different organizations, NGOs, and food producer, and sports clinic. And on the lowest side, the credit union league, we have installed 20 kilowatts in that old office building, and after 24 months, they bought it back, and so it was we call it the cooperative among cooperation among cooperative, and also on the church headquarter at rooftop, we have a 60 kilowatts installation. This is our first project in Taipei City and near the Taiwan National Taiwan University, the community. And there's also a small clinic. We have installation on that old building, which helped to the building to endure another maybe we hope like 20 years, so the rooftop, the deterioration will be slower. And this is another project that we call it the Sky Number 9 in Agape Children's Home, which is run by the Mustard Seed Mission. It's a home to about 25 kids of the age 6 to 17. And they have a small signboard, handwritten on monthly what their power generation, and hopefully the kids will have a chance to know that their roof can generate power. And last year we have only one small project due to the COVID-19 pandemic that make our contacts and expansion very difficult. This is a small tofu plant in New Taipei City. We had installed only about 22 kilowatts because the rooftop, there's a lot of the water treatments and boilers, so we cannot have a fully covered as we have initially hoped. And so last year, this is the total 600 kilowatts of the solar installation. Okay, this is the number of equivalent about 200 households electricity consumption, and this is just take a look. And okay, the last one is our campaign for our citizen or our member. We put out our citizens RE100 compared to other corporates RE100. I don't want to elaborate on that, but this is a way we are inviting our member to put more of the investing, our own individual green investment to make us investing on the newer project. So by investing another 60,000 NT dollar, we can install and maintain a kilowatts PV, and the power that generate annually can offset your own personal carbon footprint in your household consumption of electricity. Now, the last one thing is, let's go back to what the Sky #1, our first project, we had it in 2017. During last year, from mid-May, we have a not really lockdown, but it's have a real more restriction because we have a what is that? The Delta variant community outbreak. So a lot of people have to stay home. And this is how the owner of the Sky #1, they found after 3 years, they seldom went on the rooftop. But because of that community outbreak, they tend to stay home. So the father had turned the wood pellets that had initially set up by the change it into their household chair and table. And so the daughter had made some wall project, and they can stay. This has become their extra space in the sky. So currently, there are 5 energy cooperatives in Taiwan, and the Kinmen Renewable Energy Co-op that's set up in the island that near China. So the last thing is we started to do our own networking among the 5 cooperatives. And the last message is, well, I think we are doing the forefront on the drawdown on the global warming, what we are combating, what taking action. But take a look what the food waste and the plant-based diet that range on the top. But educating girl and putting the family planning, it comes 6 and 7. If we all count it together, it rose to #1. This is our message: is let's do it together, and just now. So thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you for wonderful sharing, Ms. Huang. As you may be aware, there has been a lot of exchange of experience and sharing in the community across the board. Today, we're glad to introduce to you another successful story in Japan. From Seikatsu Club Consumers Cooperative Kanagawa, also led by women, and supported the citizens' involvement to facilitate the energy transition in Japan after the Fukushima nuclear disaster. Let's welcome Ms. Kaoru Sakurai, the Vice Chairperson of Seikatsu Club Consumers Cooperative Kanagawa, with her speech, Collective Purchase of Electricity to Change the Future, the Challenge of Seikatsu Club Members. Let's welcome Ms. Kaoru Sakurai.
皆さん、こんにちは。私は生活クラブ神奈川の副理事長の桜井と申します。先ほどワンさんのお話を聞いて、久しぶりにワンさんにお会いできて嬉しかったです。生活クラブと、あと台湾、主婦連盟正教の理事だった時の出会いが台湾でさらに次の活動につながっていることをして大変嬉しく思いました。私の方からは本日は未来を変える電気の共同購入と題して、女性を中心とした生活クラブ組合のチャレンジについてお話をしたいと思います。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Thank you. Very good afternoon to you all. My name is Kaoru Sakurai, and as was introduced, serving as the Vice Chair of Seikatsu Club Consumers Cooperative, Kanagawa. Ms. Wan, it was such a pleasure to see you online once again. I have very fond and memories that I cherish encounter in your country, in your nation. And I'm pleased that working together, has led to further advances that you have talked about. So it was such a wonderful, it was so wonderful to have listened to your speech. Now, today I would like to talk about the challenge and initiative of our members, especially led by women, as was said. The subject of my talk would be the collective purchasing of electricity to change our future.
生活クラブ生協は21都道府県に33の単協があります。私が所属する生活クラブ神奈川もその一つです。全国で組合員数は41万人、年間供給高は1兆67億円規模の生活協同組合となります。食、福祉、そしてエネルギーの実地を目指して、地域の組合員が主体的に活動に取り組んでいます。
生活クラブ Coop has 33 regional cooperatives in 21 prefectures of Japan. Seikatsu Club Kanagawa, that I belong, is one of such regional cooperatives. And we have 410,000 members nationwide, and our total annual supply is 1.67 trillion Japanese yen. The local members are very proactively engaged in activities aimed at food, welfare, and energy autonomy.
私たち生活クラブの組合員は、エネルギーを食同様、暮らしに欠かせないものとして捉えて、自分たちが望むものを生産して利用する仕組みを作りたいと願い、電気の共同購入運動に取り組んでいます。
The members of Seikatsu Club regard or believe that energy is very indispensable for our daily life, just like food. And therefore, we have been working on a collective electricity purchasing campaign in the hope of creating a system to produce and use what we want and need.
電気の共同購入運動は、2011年の福島第一原発事故が大きな契機となりますが、実はその前の年に自分たちに必要なエネルギーを再生可能エネルギーで作ろうという構想は始まっていました。秋田県のにかほ市に自分たちの風車を建設しようという計画でした。しかし、当時は風車は環境破壊につながるから反対という意見も出て、組合員討議の場は紛糾しました。
The Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident in 2011 did provide a major impetus for the collective purchase of electricity. But as a matter of fact, the idea of using renewable energy sources to produce the energy we need had actually begun the year before that. The plan was to build our own wind turbine, the windmill, in the city of Nikaho, Akita Prefecture, the north of Japan. At that time, however, some members were opposed to this idea because they were concerned about environmental damage it might cause, and the members' discussions were contentious, entangled, and views divided.
そんな状況の中、福島第一原発事故は起きました。神奈川の地でも激しく揺れ、報道される凄まじい東北の津波被害の様子。これまでに経験したことのない恐怖と不安の中で、決定的だったのは原発事故でした。本当に起きてしまった原発事故、目に見えない放射能汚染の恐怖、忘れることはありません。でも、その原発の電気を使っていたのは、首都圏に住む自分たち自身だったのです。
It was under such circumstances that the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant accident occurred. Even in Kanagawa, where I live, the area was shaking violently, and amidst the horrific reports of the tsunami damage in Tohoku and the fear and anxiety that we had never experienced before, the nuclear accident occurred. And the nuclear accident became a reality, and the fear of invisible radioactive contamination spread. And we will never forget that experience. But also, we realize that we ourselves who live in Tokyo metropolitan area were using the electricity from that Fukushima nuclear power plant.
ここから組合員の議論の流れは変わりました。とにかく原発はもう嫌だ。代わりになるエネルギーを作りたい。人任せではいけない。エネルギーの自治を目指さなくてはいけない。まずは風車建設にチャレンジしようという意思決定がなされ、 2012年、日本の盛況で初と言われる風車の稼働にこぎつけました。
And from that point onward, the flow and tone of discussion among the members changed. We did not want nuclear power anymore. We wanted to create alternative energy. We could not leave this to the others. We must aim for energy autonomy. And we decided to take on this challenge of constructing the wind turbine. In 2012, it went into operation, which is said to be the first of this kind for consumer cooperatives in Japan.
2013年に生活クラブの総合エネルギー政策を決定し、私たち組合が目指すエネルギーの基本政策を明確にしました。ベースを脱原発、エネルギーの自給、CO2 削減に置き、省エネを進め、エネルギーの使用を減らす、再生可能エネルギーを作り、使う。この減らす、作る、使うの3本柱を打ち出しました。
In 2013, we decided on the comprehensive energy policy of Seikatsu Club and clearly determined the basic energy policy that we, the members, will aim for. The policy is based on the principles of nuclear power phase-out, energy self-sufficiency, and reduction of CO2 emissions. Reduce energy use by promoting energy conservation, and produce and use renewable energy. The three pillars of the plan are to reduce, produce, and use.
こちらは生活クラブのエネルギー7原則です。再エネを中心とする電気を共同購入し、同時に省エネルギーを進めながら、一日でも早く原発や化石燃料に依存しなくて良い社会を目指すことを明確にするために定めました。今日のお話とポイントとなる地域への貢献と自然環境に留意した発電事業を進めていくことなどを明記しています。
These are the 7 energy principles of Seikatsu Club. We set up these principles with the determination to carry out the collective purchase of primarily renewable energy and to build a society that does not depend on nuclear power or fossil fuels as quickly as possible by promoting renewable energy. It also clearly states that we will contribute to the local community, which is the focal point of today's discussion, and that we will promote power generation projects that are mindful, considerate of the natural environment and its preservation.
2014年に組合員の電力会社として株式会社生活クラブエナジーを設立し、2015年には生活クラブ関連の事業所への電力供給を、2016年には組合員宅への電力供給を開始しました。
In 2014, we established Seikatsu Club Energy Company Limited as an electric power company for our members. And in 2015, we began supplying the electricity to Seikatsu Club-related business establishments and locations. And in the following year, in 2016, we began supplying electricity to our members' homes.
現在の生活クラブ電気の状況です。全国61カ所の再エネ発電所からの調達している分が8割を超え、契約件数も1万7000件近くになっています。
This is the Seikatsu Club electricity, Denki Now. More than 80% of the electricity is procured from 61 renewable energy generating plants nationwide. The number of contracts is very close to 17,000.
生活クラブ電気の再エネ供給電力量は2019年度実績で7930万キロワットアワーとなっています。発電所は生活クラブが自前で建設したもの、生活クラブ関連の事業所に設置したものなど、生活クラブ主体の発電所が31カ所、ご当地電力、市民電力などの契約発電所が30カ所となっています。
The amount of renewable energy supplied by Seikatsu Club electricity is 79.3 million kilowatt per hour in fiscal year 2019. This is the actual number. There are 31 power plants, including those built by Seikatsu Club ourselves and those installed at Seikatsu Club related business sites. There are 30 power plants under contract with local electric power companies and citizens electric power companies.
さらに、自前発電所の開発は、小水力、ソーラーシェアリング、バイオマス、風車などで、現在も新規開発が進んでいます。
In addition, the development of self-owned power plants is underway in the areas of small-scale hydroelectric power, solar sharing, biomass, and wind turbines.
昨年は、日本の第6次エネルギー基本計画策定の年でした。そこに向けて生活クラブの主張を掲げ、未来につなげるエネルギーアクションという統一行動を起こしました。
Last year was the year of the revision of Japan's sixth strategic energy plan. During the process, we took a unified action called Connect with the Future Energy Action. This was an advocacy movement appealing Seikatsu's club claim.
生活クラブの主張は、1、2030年までに再エネを 60% 以上に、2050年には 100% とすること。2、原発の即刻廃止。石炭火力を2030年までに廃止すること。3、再生可能エネルギー主力電源化の実現に向けた政策転換を早急に進めることの3点でした。
Seikatsu Club assertions were threefold. First, by 2030, raise renewable energy to be at least 60%, and by 2050, 100%. Second, immediately abolish nuclear power and planned phase out coal-fired power generations by 2030. And thirdly, promptly promote a policy shift towards the realization of renewable energy as a baseload power supply.
若者を中心としたあと4年未来を守れるのは今キャンペーンと共同で27万を超える署名を国に提出しました。
Together with the 4 more years, the Time to Protect the Future is Now campaign, led by Young Generation, we submitted over 270,000 signatures to the government.
その後、第6次エネルギー基本計画では、再生可能エネルギーを主力電源とすることは明記されましたが、原発はベースロード電源とし、20から22% の割合で位置づけられてしまいました。残念ではありますが、私たちは生活クラブ電気を拡大することで、再エネ 100% を現実のものとする未来を示していきたいと思っています。
Subsequently, in the revised 6th Basic Energy Plan, it was clearly stated that renewable energy would be the main source of power. But, however, nuclear power was positioned as a baseload power source with a ratio of 20 to 20%. It was truly unfortunate and regrettable, but we would like to show that in the future, that 100% renewable energy can be a reality. And for that, we will continue to expand the Seikatsu Club electricity.
ここからは発電所と組合員の絆をテーマに、にかほ市の風車夢風についてお話をします。現在、日本でも利益優先のずさんな再エネ開発は至るところで問題になっています。生活クラブの電源開発は、地域への貢献と自然環境に留意して進めていることをお伝えしたいと思います。
From here on, I would like to talk about our wind turbine, a Dream Wind in Nikaho City, to explain the bonds between power plants and members. Currently in Japan, there are many examples of poorly planned, profit-oriented renewable energy projects. I would like to talk to you today about how Seikatsu Club's power development projects focuses on contribution to the community and environmental considerations.
生活クラブ電気の初めの一歩となった生活クラブ風車夢風ですが、先ほどもお話ししました通り、組合員間の激しい議論の中、3.11 東日本大震災、福島原発事故を契機に、エネルギーも人任せではいられないのだという意識が高まったことで、風車建設へつながっていきました。
The first step of Seikatsu Club electricity was the Seikatsu Club wind turbine, Wind Dream. As already mentioned, amidst heated discussion among members, the 3/11 Great East Japan Earthquake and Fukushima nuclear power plant accident hit us. This made us realize that we should not leave energy supply to others, which led to the construction of the wind turbine.
組合員同士の議論の中で重要だったのは、地方で発電した電気を使うだけでは原発と同じ、発電所のある地域とつながりを作り、その地域にも役立つ取り組みをしなければという意見でした。
What came up as important in the member discussions was that if you just use electricity from other regions, you are simply following the nuclear power plant model. You need to establish a bond with the community in which the plant is located and implement initiatives that benefit that community.
組合員は風車建設前から何度もにかほ市に通い、現地の人と交流しました。風車稼働後も続いています。次に挑戦したのは、にかほの生産者と組合員が共に開発した夢風ブランド品と称する地元の特産品をベースにしたオリジナル品の開発です。お酒、ラーメン、しょっつる、はたはたオイル漬け等があります。
Members visited Nikaho City many times before the construction of the wind turbine to interact with the local people. This interaction is continued after the construction as well. The next challenge was to co-develop with Nikaho City producers original products based on local specialties under the Dream Wind brand. Sake, ramen, shotsuru, pickles, and hata-hata oil are some examples.
開発担当の組合員は現地に通い、生産者と共同作業で開発を進めます。その過程でにかほ市を深く知り、愛着も湧き、その後の利用結集活動にも力が入り、にかほ市に貢献することができました。このことはにかほ市民と組合員との相互理解と信頼の高まりにつながりました。
Members in charge of development visited the community to work with the producers. Through that process, they were able to contribute more to Nikaho by learning more about the city, being attached to it, and putting more energy into promoting use of the products. This led to enhancing trust between Nikaho citizens and Seikatsu Club members.
また、にかほ市自然エネルギーによるまちづくり基金条例制定にも寄与しました。にかほ市には夢風以外にも多くの風車が建設されています。市内の風力電力事業者が売電利益から基金に寄付し、まちづくりに生かしていこうというもので、夢風からは毎年売電1キロワットアワーにつき 0.5 円を寄付しています。2021年度は244万円となりました。花いっぱい運動や中学校の机、椅子などの購入や地産地消の食育事業として地元の特産品を使った学校給食などに使われています。
We also contributed in establishing the Nikaho City Ordinance for Renewable Energy Urban Renewal Fund. Nikaho City has many wind turbines, including ones other than Dream Wind. The ordinance aims at using funds donated from sales profits of wind energy operators for urban development. Dream Wind every year contributes 0.5 yen per 1 kilowatt of electricity sold. In 2021, we contributed 2.44 million yen. The fund has been used for the Lots of Flowers movement, purchase of junior high school desks and chairs, and school lunches, and using local specialty produce to educate students on the concept of local consumption of locally produced products.
こちらは夢風ブランド品の生産者と組合員が一緒になって生活クラブ神奈川の店舗であるデポーで利用アピールをしている様子です。下ははたはたオイル漬け開発の時の様子です。
These are pictures of producers of Dream Wind brand products and Seikatsu Club members promoting use of these products at a depot, which is a store of Seikatsu Club Kanagawa. The bottom pictures are from when pickles and hata-hata oil were developed.
夢風による経済効果をまとめてみました。毎年、地代基金などの直接経済効果が500万円ほど、 夢風ブランド品利用などの波及経済効果として2000万から3000万近い実績があります。
This is a summary of the economic effects of Dream Wind. Every year, there is direct economic effect of 5 million yen, including land rent and fund income, and indirect knock-on effect of 20 to 30 million, including use of Dream Wind products.
直接経済効果の5倍以上の波及経済効果となってきています。
The indirect knock-on economic effects is 5 times larger than direct economic effects.
こうした取り組みはニカホモデルとして各メディアや映画にも取り上げられ、生活クラブ以外の人にも知ってもらう機会となりました。
These initiatives became known to non-Seikatsu Club members as the Nikaho model through media reports and movies.
ドキュメンタリー映画穏やかな革命はまだ英訳版はないのですが、画像だけでもぜひ一度見ていただけたらいいなと思っています。今日ここでお話ししきれない内容が詰まっています。また私たちの活動する姿も見ていただくことができます。
I strongly urge you to see the documentary movie A Quiet Revolution. This is not translated into English yet, but it is worth seeing just watching the pictures and images. The film is full of content which I will not be able to cover in my talk today, and also this film shows us in action.
再エネ開発をハブとした地方と都市をつなげ、持続可能な関係を作っていくこうした取り組みを生活クラブではさらに広げてきています。ニカホ市には23年度稼働を目指して2期目の風車建設を準備してきています。
Seikatsu Club intends to expand activities to establish a sustainable relationship between local regions and cities by linking them through renewable energy development as a hub. Preparation is ongoing for the second wind turbine to be constructed for start of operation in 2023.
また、お米の提携で歴史の深い庄内遊佐地方では、河原の荒れ地を利用したメガソーラーを建設しました。ここの売電収入は庄内の地域づくりにも生かされています。
In the Shonai Yuza region, with which we have long-standing relationship through rice production, we constructed a mega solar plant using uncultivated riverside land. Electricity sales income is used for community building in Shonai.
また、ご当地電力の会津電力グループと生活クラブ神奈川は昨年、地域間連携協定を締結しました。会津のソーラーパネルの下に植えたブドウを組合員と共に育て、ワインを作ったり、今後様々な取り組みを計画しています。
A local power operator, the Aizu Power Company and Seikatsu Club Kanagawa concluded an interregional collaboration or exchange agreement last year. We are planning to grow grapes planted under solar panels in Aizu with members and make wine. Various other activities are also planned.
私たちが目指す再生可能エネルギー 100% にはまだまだ道半ばです。再生可能エネルギー発電所を広げていくこと自体に疑問が投げかけられることもあります。忘れてはいけないのは 3.11 原発事故の時何を決意したかではないかと思っています。
We are still on our way to achieve
Interruptions.
100% renewable
Ms. Sakurai,
energy.
You have 2 minutes left. Thank you.
あと2分です。はい。Sometimes doubts arise about expanding renewable energy generation plants. What we should not forget is what we committed ourselves to after the 311 nuclear plant accident.
生活クラブの組合員の多くは家族を持つ女性です。その時大事な家族をどう守るのか必死に考えました。その時の率直な思いをエネルギーの自治を広げる運動の原点としてぶれることなく推進していきたいと思っています。私たちだからできるエネルギー開発にチャレンジすることで子どもや孫へ安心できる未来を残していきたいと思います。ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Many of the Seikatsu Club members are women with families. Back then, they thought seriously about how to protect their families. The sincere thoughts back then should be remembered as the starting point of the movement to expand energy autonomy. By working on energy development in a way unique to us, we are hoping that we can hand down a safe and secure future to our children and grandchildren. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your inspiring story. Another topic we would like to discuss today, related to the Citizens Energy Project, is the installation of solar panels on the private rooftops. Take Taipei City as an example. Previously, it was very hard to convince people to implement a solar panel on their private property, mostly due to lack of legal support as well as bias from the neighborhood. On the other hand, the public buildings such as schools and government offices are in much better conditions, both legally and conditionally. However, it is difficult for citizens to participate since the commercial model favors more to the enterprises instead of citizens. In the past 6 years, HUF has been actively participated in the Citizen Energy Project. Between 2018 and 2020, HUF initiated and implemented the first citizen-owned solar panel installed in a school in Taipei City. With 24 citizens' participation as investors, the successful deployment of the panel delivered benefit sharing from selling back the electricity to the Thai Power Company. In addition to that, it also provides extra resources for the energy education to the school and the community. Such success could not be done without full support from the Taipei City government. Next, let us welcome Mr. Mingyu He, the Chief of Public Utilities Division, Department of Economic Development from the Taipei City government, with his sharing of first case of citizens' participation in energy transition in Taiwan. Let's welcome Mr. He.
可能没办法开吧？哎，可是那边又
有声音了。
Okay. Hello everyone. It is my great pleasure to report on the first case of citizens' participation in energy transition in Taiwan. I will use the case of PV power plant located at the Guandu Junior High School as an example to show how the Taipei City government has provided citizens' power plant. Okay. Before I start discussing the citizens' power plant, I would like to talk about how Taipei City is promoting PV power generation in the city now. In Taipei City, the installation of a PV power generation plant is usually initiated through a competitive bidding process on city-owned premises as the site for the power plant. With this approach, the city is facing two major challenges in promoting PV power generation, namely cost and benefit and weather and regulations. Regarding cost and benefit, in the past, the central government would cooperate with the Taipei City government in installing PV power generation systems on the site of the city's public institutions and schools. This way, at a cost of 450 million NT dollars, the installed capacity was only 2 megawatts. After the installation, local government agencies will still need to fund the maintenance and manpower required for operations of this power plant. Regarding the weather and regulatory challenges, Due to the lower number of sunny days in Taipei, the return on investment for private PV power plants in Taipei is lower than in other counties in Taiwan. Also, in accordance with the city's regulation, the private entities can only sign a lease to rent city-owned premises for a maximum of 3 years each term and pay a relatively higher annual rent. This requirement has resulted in private sector's low interest in establishing PV plants on city premises. In order to resolve these two challenges, the city has proposed a new strategy with the goals of attracting private investment without investing any public funds. First, the city will try to attract private sector investment in PV power projects without any government funding. So, we worked with the central government in providing a 15% premium on the electricity sale-back rate for the northern region through the FIT mechanism. With this price premium, the PV power plant can sell their electricity for 5 to 7 NT dollars per kilowatt to Taipower Company. As this electricity sale-back rate is very high, it would offer great incentive to private company to invest in solar power generation projects. In June 2016, the Taipei City adopted a new regulation. This regulation stipulates that the contract of such a lease may have a maximum term of 10 years. And this may be renewed once for another 10 years. Through this regulation, the private PV plants can sign 20-year long-term electricity selling contract with the Taipower, which is consistent with their lease term with the city. This regulation also stipulates that annual rent of city premises is no longer a fixed 5% of the assessed value, but a mutually agreed electricity selling revenue. Two strategies implemented, the Taipei City has achieved remarkable breakthroughs in solar PV installations in 2016 and 2017. The process leading to such breakthroughs include field survey conducted in 2015, development of new regulations in 2016, expansion of solar installations in 2017, and continuous expansion of installed capacity from 2018 to 2021. In Taipei City's solar power promotion program, called Solar Taipei Program for city premises, subsidy for citizens, smart grid, and citizen power plant. In 2014, the city's installed PV power generation capacity is only 3 megawatts, which has increased to 41 megawatts as of the end of 2021, a dramatic increase of more than 12 times. Although solar power generation is growing rapidly in Taipei, the resource utilization is oligopriced by very few people. Therefore, many people around the world are gradually paying attention to issues such as citizens' power plant and public participation in energy transition. It is believed that solar energy generation should not be oligopriced. The people must be main force behind the generation of solar electricity. The global energy transition is not just about changing the fuels we use now, but also about generating additional revenue or additional resources for the people. In this aspect, the citizens' power plant in Taipei is a successful example of expanding installations as well as improving energy education for the people. Next, I will explain how Taipei City is able to promote the establishment of citizens' power plant on city-owned premises. It is Taiwan's first citizens' power plant established through an open bidding process on the city-owned premises. Therefore, the tender document needs to be developed clearly in order to attract private investment. In 2018, a citizens' power plant workshop was held. NGOs, financing banks, interested civil organizations, Energy Bureau of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, and High Power Company were invited to attend the workshop. During the workshop, participants discussed issues related to the promotion of solar power plant. In 2019, the contract for the citizens' power plant was drawn up. From this table, you can see the differences between the installations of regular solar power plant versus the citizens' power plant. Regarding the qualifications, a bidder of regular plant must have the capability to establish a PV power plant. It must have at least 10 million NT dollars in registered capital and have listed relevant business areas in its business certificate. A bidder of citizens' power plant only needs to be a registered legal entity. Regarding past performance, a bidder of a regular PV power plant needs to have prior experience in installation of at least 3 megawatts capacity. For a bidder of a citizens' power plant, the entity only needs to have experience in promoting public interest and public affairs related to citizens' power plant or renewable energy projects. Regarding the scope and conditions of uses, a bidder of a citizens' power plant must conduct open fundraising, and the ratio of fund should not be less than 50% of the total installation cost. In 2020, the Guandu Junior High School project became the first such project, with the tendering process handled by the local government, awarded to an NGO HUF, and the power generation system installed with fund raised through an open fundraising process. For this project, the installed capacity is about 20 kilowatts, with an annual power generation of about 19,000 kilowatt hours, and capable of reducing about 10 tons of carbon emissions per year. The Taipei city government took the lead in establishing a citizens' power plant by signing a contract with the NGO. At the same time, the benefits of solar power generation can be provided to the public through the Guandu Junior High School project for energy education purpose. The Guandu Junior High School citizens' power plant has an installed capacity of about 20 kilowatts and is equipped with a total of 63 solar panels, of which 32 solar panels are owned by the citizens of the Beitou district, where the first citizens' power plant is located, provided about 56% of the fund required for the establishment of the plant. This case also enjoys a very high rate of participation by the public, as over 50% of the project investors are citizens of the Taipei city. The HUF is actively offering its services to the residents of Beitou district and the Guandu Junior High School neighborhood. It encourages the participation of local citizens in public affairs, and the educational activities conducted are mainly workshops for local teachers and speeches and performances for nearby residents. In December 2020, an energy classroom was opened in the school and has been serving as a focal point for attracting parents and surrounding residents to participate in public affairs, raising energy awareness and improving the surrounding living environment. With the success of this case, stakeholders from relevant fields have called to ask for the tender document for reference purpose, including officials from the Energy Bureau of the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Education, New Taipei City Government, and the Yilan County government. The HUF is also sharing its successful experience related to this project with several local radio stations, demonstrating the government's determination and actions to promote green energy. Finally, I would like to emphasize that promoting green energy city and building a sustainable Taipei have always been the Taipei City's goals. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you for your inspiring sharing, Mr. He. Another important part to the success of the Citizen Energy Project is the fundraising platform. The platform plays an important role in providing citizen participants full visibility, wide range of supporting tools, as well as quality guarantees to the project. I'm glad to introduce to you Ms. Chen, the co-founder of the leading fundraising platform for the solar panel in Taiwan, Sunny Funder. Let's welcome Ms. Chen to give her sharing about Light Up the World with Green Energy. The floor is yours, Ms. Chen.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you online. I'm very pleased to share with you how a social enterprise that promotes the green energy for all in Taiwan. As a sociologist, I believe it's important to leave no one behind on the road of energy transition. Today, I want to share you how Sunny Founder invites more people to join energy transition. In 2015, several partners and I set up a social enterprise to promote the popularization of green energy. We established the first green energy crowdfunding platform in Taiwan. We call it Sunny Founder. Our mission is to allow everyone to participate in the action of green energy and share the benefits. To provide sustainable energy and meanwhile leaving no one behind, we'll achieve these visions through 3 business models and strategies. Next, I'll introduce more details to you. In the first model, Sunny Founder provides people with a very simple way to become a citizen power plant partner. Through Sunny Founder, you only need to purchase 1 solar panel, around 20,000 New Taiwan dollar, and share the benefits with other participants. This is the first crowdfunding project of Sunny Founder, an 11 kilowatt project with 44 solar panels and a total of 15 participants. Sunny Founder is growing very fast. In 2018, we crowdfunded by far the largest citizen power plant in 2 months, a 500 kilowatt project with more than 1,600 solar panels and a total of more than 300 participants. And in 2019, on Christmas Day, we crowdfunded another project of the same scale. However, at this time, it only took 2 minutes. Yes, it's only 2 minutes. We complete this project. As of now, Sunny Founder has become the largest platform of citizen power plant in Taiwan. There have been more than 26,000 people participating in the construction of more than 313 solar power plants, and as a result, more than 20 have been built. We believe that for the development of green energy, together we can make it better. Besides, in the second business model, Sunny Founder received the first renewable energy-based electricity retailing enterprise certificate of Taiwan. In the future, people can purchase green electricity from Sunny Founder. We hope everyone can be a producer and consumer of green electricity, and in addition, each of us will be the consumer of renewable energy. In addition to helping more people participate in the sharing of green energy, Sunny Founder also improved the situation of the social disadvantaged groups through the green energy charity model, which combines the donations efforts of enterprises and the public to build solar PV systems for the disadvantaged in order to have long-term and stable resources. This is our first green energy charity project, the SOS Children's Village. In this project, 37 donors helped to construct a 5 kilowatt solar PV system. We also work with local governments for green charity projects. Together with the Pingtung County government and through crowdfunding, we helped the Pingtung Victory Christian Church and crowdfunded a 6 kilowatt solar power system. Particularly, the first donor of this project was the mayor of the county. From 2017 to 2021, we had cooperated with the Taiwan Mobile Company to complete a series of green energy charity projects to help 5 social welfare institutions. And in the process, we not only combine donations from the company and the public, but we also sponsored by the company's supply chain to achieve these projects. There are more interesting ways for people to participate in green energy charity. In 2019, we co-sponsored by the Run for Solar Energy project with Lion Technology. We invite people to plug in and pick up 100,000 cigarette butts, which then transformed into $1 million donations. And we built a solar power system for a nursing home carrying the elderly in Yilan. We have also joined hands with Citibank Taiwan, with the company and employees' donations to construct solar power system for elderly and a disability care center. In another project, we work with the Kasei Financial Holdings. The donations from the company came from a very interesting project. We call it as an employee lost 1 kilogram, and the company would donate 100 new Taiwan dollar. Such projects become an innovative action, such as maybe we can call it reducing your body fat, and you will light up the world. It's very interesting and it's very innovative action. And in 2020, we have finished another project, Light Up DIY Tribe, which combined sponsored by a company and the general public. The donations, we have built a 15 kilowatt solar PV system with energy storage facility. As of now, there have been a total of 16 enterprises and more than 10,000 people participated in 16 charity projects through Sunny Founder. We had helped more than 2,000 children, the elderly, and physically and mentally disabled. Besides creating shared green energy economy, we also hope to empower the marginalized groups. There are the renewable education sections we organized for the children, elderly, and mentally disabled. For example, in a mini solar car activity, we do not need effort to explain to the children. Through the game, they can very easily understand that as long as there is sunshine and there is power. Sunny Founder not only has created a very interesting and green sharing economy, but also invite everyone to become the power of energy transition. And in 2021, last year, we launched the Greenwell 100 initiative and hope to complete 100 green energy charity actions by 2030. Maybe you will know the renewable 100, IE 100, or EV 100, or EP 100. But right now, in Taiwan, we have a new Greenwell 100 initiative. Until now, the Greenwell 100 initiative has successfully invited more than 10 enterprises. And in the future, I also look forward to expanding the Greenwell initiative to other countries. To sum up, I hope that everyone should be able to share the benefits brought by the sunshine and leave no one behind. It echoes the number 7 of the Sustainable Development Goals. And I believe the future depends on what we do today. Just as Gandhi said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. Right now, I'm here to ask everyone to join us, and let's work together to protect our homeland and light up the world with green energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chen, for those wonderful stories. Now it's the Q&A session. Please take your time to write down those questions in the chat box. I have already prepared some questions for our speakers. Just a reminder, while you're writing your question in the chat box, please also briefly introduce yourself, especially your name and where you're from. And please also do let us know to which speaker you want to ask your question. Now allow me to take a few minutes to ask questions to our speakers. Due to the limit of time, I think each speaker have 5 minutes to share your comments and opinions. Okay, first of all, Ms. Sakurai, your story was very inspiring. I have one question for you. Ms. Sakurai, according to U.S. Department of Energy, Citizen Energy Project could generate 1.1 to 1.3 tons of benefit for the local community compared with monopoly projects. You also mentioned the Seikazu Club Consumers Cooperative also returned part of benefits to the community as citizen funds. Could you tell us more details about how the cooperative co-work and make decisions with local community? Thank you. Ms. Sakurai, the floor is yours.
はい、わかりました。じゃあちょっと資料共有をさせていただきたいと思います。あれ
Thank you very much. Let me show you another slide. I'm going to share my slide.
はい、こちらご覧になれましたでしょ
I
う
hope
か
you can see it.
Yes, we can see it. Thank
ちょっ
you.
と細かい表になりますけれども、
I know it's busy. I'm sorry for a busy chart.
先ほどお話ししました夢風秋田の
I
夢
talked
風と
about
生活クラブの
Akita's
例を取り上げて申し上げます。 まず生活クラブと秋田市は、夢風を作ったときに、地域間連携による持続可能な自然エネルギー社会づくりに向けた共同宣言という包括協定を締結しました。
Now, thank you. I'm going to refer to our experience with the Akita city. If we remember, we worked on Yumekaze, the Dream Wind, together. When we first entered into this initiative, together with the Akita city, we entered into a very comprehensive agreement, which is called Joint Proclamation for Sustainable and Renewable Energy-Based Society.
その協定内容を実現するために、ニカホ市と生活クラブで、連携推進協議会を設置して共同代表、幹事をそれぞれから選出し、方針、計画を決定して、相互連携した活動を進めています。
And of course, the ideas embodied in the proclamation must be implemented and realized. For that purpose, we have set up the Council for the Promotion of Cooperation. And this council consists of representatives from both parties. We have chosen the co-chairs, the vice mayor, and the representatives of Regional Seikatsu Club, and they together collectively discuss and determine on the policies and the directions of the activities.
また、協議会のもとに、夢風ブランド生産者連絡会を設置して、地元の消費財生産者、夢風の地主である芹田自治会と生活クラブも参加して、活動や取り組みについて意思決定をしています。
And also underneath, you will find Yumekaze Brand Producers Liaison Association. This is a body where we can cooperate and collaborate with the local producers and also the landlord of the premises. Through such channels, we collectively together make decisions and implement those decisions.
以上です。
I hope I have answered your question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sakurai, for sharing those information with us. My next question is also about consensus among the cooperative itself. So my second question is to Ms. Huang. The consensus is the cornerstone of citizen power project. Could you share your experience about how to make consensus among more than 200 members?
Okay, me? Building consensus or discussion and how to step by step or collectively shows is members sometimes they don't come to the meeting, they forgot that they are cooperative members. So we have been trying to keep them in a group, sort of a networking. First is, for example, in Taiwan, we're popular with Line is a media for contacting. So we have different kind of group, study group. And we have in the past 5 years, just before the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been able to organize study trip to different power plant, even hydro, small or big, and fossil fuel, coal or natural gas, and or even to a project where the wind offshore wind farm that was planning to build. So field trip and organizing field trip to sort of getting a sense of what's going on in Taiwan in terms of the energy transition, and different lecture and even movies on renewable energies, and then different kind of workshop. We have been in the past 3-4 years 2 times that we have organized consensus workshop just to between the general assembly, because usually that's March, and that's just you have to pass all the plans for an annual plan. So in between, for the past last year, when we have the 5th anniversary of our co-op, the new co-op, we held a little party to invite all the members to come. So little by little, some of the members, probably about 70% of our members that live in the Taipei, New Taipei city area, which is usually easier to get together. But in the past 2 years, we have been depending on the online sessions more often, but usually the participant rate is not that high. We have to accept the fact. So we spend a lot of time in getting people linked to what's going on in our co-op, and also we have a website. I don't know whether that's tell the story. Okay.
Thank you very much. Another question is to the Taipei City government. Mr. He, could you share your experience about how to apply new governance model on local energy transition policy, especially multi-stakeholders or multi-sectoral co-work on the citizen power model? Thank you. Hi, Mr. He, are you there with us? Mr. He, could you turn on your mic? We cannot hear you.
对了，可以的。
Okay, sorry, I think there's some technical problem, so let's just move on. Oh, hi. Hello, Mr. He, are you there?
OK，那这是他的
We
问
can
题是
hear you now.
没有，他是问你在不在。
I hear.
Yes, we can hear you now. Please continue. Thank you.
OK。没有啊，他
没有，他只是听得到，我们就这样，他说
对啊，
他就
我说他有问题吗？好像没有。
没有。
现在开始座谈了，是不是？
Mr. He, can you turn on your video?
要打开那个。
Right.
Hello, Mr. He. Did you hear the question I raised? Should I repeat it again?
Okay.
听不太清。OK。
Okay.
听不太清楚。
I repeat my question again. Mr. He,
Yeah.
could you share your experience about how to apply new governance model on local energy transition policy, especially multi-stakeholders or multi-sectoral co-work on the citizen power model? Thank you.
分享的。分享直接讲就可以了。
Okay.
你讲英文吗？
Okay, thanks. Thank you. I think the citizen power is important on energy transition. So we will recommend holding an informal discussion and invite relevant stakeholders, including NGOs, community leaders, and civil organizations, and government agencies to participate in the discussion. The issues related to the necessary conditions for good project site and detail of the bidding process will be discussed, including installation site, capacity demand, bidding qualifications, and content for offering of public amenity. Public funding activities can be pursued through the fundraising platform, internet, or community activities, in order to generate public's interest in providing the fund for the site installation. Through simple means like this, the citizens can be provided with the opportunity to participate in green energy development and promote the local energy transition. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. My last question is to Ms. Chen from Sunny Founder. According to the ARENA report published in 2019, the report indicates that renewable energy industry is more gender equal than oil and gas industry, where 32% of the workforce in renewable energy industry is female, which is 10% higher than oil and gas industry. So I'm curious about how is the ratio of women's participants on solar fundraising projects on your website, and how's the female employment in Sunny Founder company? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for a very, very good question. I think women make up half of the world's populations, and I believe the women have the power to make more change. Today I have heard many speakers tell us these stories, and in Sunny Founder there are more than 30,000 people have participated in Sunny Founder, and among them the number of female participants has increased from 36% in 2018 to 48% in 2021. As of now, this year, more than 50% of the participants on Sunny Founder are women. And many mothers like me invest in solar panels for their children, not only saving more money, but also creating a better environmental future for their kids. And in addition, just as Xinping said, as an energy industry or social enterprise that promotes the population of green energy in Taiwan, in Sunny Founder, 55 employees in our company is female. And compared with ARENA's report, women employment population in the traditional energy industry accounts for maybe 20% and 30% in the renewable energy industry. But in Sunny Founder, we not only demonstrate gender equality in our workplace, but also drive more people and empower more women in Taiwan to participate in energy transition through our innovative business model and through our very simple way, a crowdfunding platform. And I think it's very big change for me and for everyone, and I think it's for every woman. Thank you.
Thank you, Phoebe. That's very great to hear. And while our colleagues still collecting questions from the audience, I think there's something important we need to do together. Please turn on your video, turn on your camera. Let's take a picture together. Mr. He, can you turn on your camera? And yes, hello. Great to see you. I think we also welcome all the interpreters and all the audience to turn on your camera so we can take a picture together. Okay.
All the attendants, if you would like to, you can turn on your camera. We will love like to take a group photo. Last 5 seconds to turn on your camera. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone say cheese. Wow, so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone want to ask a question? Okay, Miss Huang has one question. Okay.
I have a question for Sakurai-san, Secret Club Secure. Could you tell us a little bit of how many citizens invested wind turbines and in Japan? And that's the first question. And the second thing is, among all the electricity, your members who participate in purchasing the green power or electricity, what are the characteristics of those who are willing to participate? Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。生活クラブ電気に加入しているということで大丈夫でしょうか。はい、風車をはじめですね、様々な生活クラブの再生エネルギーを使っている、積極的に使ってくれようとしている組合員は、本当に、生活クラブ電気2016年の、共同購入が始まった年からですね、積極的に使ってくださるという方はすごい勢いで、最初は電力量が限られていましたから、枠が決まっていたんです。ですので、抽選をしなければいけないかというぐらいの勢いで集まってきてくれました。そういう方々は、組合員歴が長くて、チェルノブイリの頃から脱原発の活動をされていたりとか、そういうもともと意識の高かった組合の方は多かったと思います。ですが、その後ですね、切りますか。
So, for the members of Seikatsu Club Electricity who are actively trying to utilize wind generated by the wind turbines or renewable energy in general, actually, we started this project in 2016, where we promoted the collective purchase of electricity. Initially, there was a limit to the amount of electricity that we could sell, and therefore, there were so many members who wanted to participate that we had to have a lottery or draw to determine who can purchase the electricity. Those people who were very proactive in purchasing renewable energy were those who have a long history of being members of a Seikatsu Club. These members were actually very active since the Chernobyl accident. So they had a very high level of awareness of the importance of renewable energy.
はい。しかしですね、その後ですね、組合の中で生活クラブ電気が広がらないで悩んでいるというところは、現実なところです。なぜかというと、他にも日本中にいろんな再生可能エネルギーに取り込める電力会社があって、そことの比較の中で生活クラブの電気の魅力っていうところが今一つ伝わりにくかったところがあるかなと思っています。
However, since the start of the project, we have to admit that we have not been able to expand the use of Seikatsu Club electricity as much as we had wanted to. And the reason for that is because in Japan, we have many other companies, corporations providing renewable energy to consumers. And we have not been able to sufficiently communicate the attractiveness or the advantages of electricity, of Seikatsu Club electricity to the consumers in Japan.
今日私がお話した内容が他の再生可能エネルギーの電力会社とは全く違う点ということで、 一番これを組合に伝えたときに共感が高い部分ということで、発電所の地域に資する電力であるというところを今日はポイントでお話ししました。このお話が伝わると、改めて考えて加入してくれる人が増えます。
Today in my presentation, I
Thank you very much
focused
for
on.
sharing.
Excuse me.
I
We're not.
saw two
Today
questions
in
on the
today
chat
today in
box.
my
The first question, I
today
think, is
excuse me. The translator wishes to translate what Ms. Sakurai just mentioned.
Yeah, sure,
Oh,
please.
yeah, yes. Today in my presentation, I focused on the points of Seikatsu Club electricity that is totally different from other renewable energy companies in Japan. When we appeal those points to members, they tend to sympathize with it and understand the appeal of Seikatsu Club electricity. And the important point is that to make sure in those projects that the local community will also benefit from the renewable energy project. And it is true that when we appeal to the members, that point, that is a benefit to the local community, the number of people who wish to participate in the renewable energy projects tends to go up.
はい、すいません。最後に一つだけ。ただ、夢風の風車もそうですし、太陽光パネルの省内もそうですが、実際に建てるにあたっては、出資金を組合員から募っています。そこへの参加は非常に高いものがあるというふうに思っています。以上です。
Just one last point for our renewable energy projects, including Dream Wind and the solar panel project in Shonai. We solicit contributions or investments from our members, and the participation rate of members in this kind of investment or contribution to projects is very high. That is all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Sorry for interrupt. I saw two questions from the chat box. Number one, I think is for Miss Wang. The audience asks, "Thank you for your sharing, and for co-ops, residents and layman people. How did you know how to run and operate a green energy projects?" Second question, I think he raised the question to the Taipei City government for the Taiwan City project. How did you know the company you were awarding it to could do a good job? Thank you. Okay, so the floor is Ms. Huang, please.
Thank you for raising the question. As a new co-op, there's a learning curve of what being told as we are attending different seminar, workshop, and how to run a project. You have to ask around, and then the EPC. What we have to rely on the person or the entity that providing the services, and so there's a lot of learning in terms of how these project site evaluations and what are the party that we need to have the whole things set up. So, and how to sign the contract. There's several layer of contract that we have to be sure, and then how afterwards there's the maintenance side. So I would say it's a totally new set of business, and of course we want to run a business unusual, but we have to rely on the person who or the company who can run all these services. So there's I cannot tell you in one or two sentences, but it's a lot of commitment to do anything. At least the feed-in tariff, the guarantee there's 20 years, so we have to have like a 25, 30 years of commitment to do that. So we have to hand it on to the new generation to come, because there's no guarantee that we can sustain that long in our age. So it's a whole commitment. So thank you for your question.
Thank you. The second question is to Taipei City Government, Mr. He. Hello, Mr. He.
还是说
，select 是评选的，
打开了？
打开。
现在打开。
Hello, Mr. He. I repeat the question for the Taipei City Government again.
Yes, please.
For the Taiwan City project,
在旁边那
did
边。
you know the company you were awarding it could do a good job?
We selected
Okay.
on
Do a
performance.
good job.
Because we just use the 这怎么讲？就是
你直接讲。
we use the contract for the citizens power plant, okay, and we from we 这个 qualifications
要求。
So regarding the qualifications, a bidder of a regular plant must have the capability to establish a PV power plant. So we can know the bidder can just have power to set up the PV plant. And regarding to
评选的方式来
citizen
选
power
的
plant, we will know
评选，
we will
就是
try
开
to
评
know
选。
how
可以讲说应该的方式来选
experience
择和
about
厂商。
the
对，为了保证
participants.
它的
Okay.
执行的一
So
个未来执行的一个优劣，然后会有就会有审核机制，还是会有那个履约的执行履约吗？契约执行，契约执行。
好难哦。
借由评选这样。
借由评选啦，我们是借由评选啦。
这个好难回答。
讲中文好了。
对，
对吧？不知道主持人懂不懂意思？就是我们是借由评选的方式去要求了。这样我不知道怎么这样用英文怎么讲。
那个主持人帮我们翻译一下。
就是因为评选的时候有各个委员。这个要怎么讲呢？
就用评选的方式来进行，然后在执行契约期间也会每年会依据我们的契约来进行一个契约的一个检视，看有没有符合契约的规定。大概就是这样子。
Okay, thank you for sharing. Because HUIF is the one who won the bidding, so I think I can also answer this question. The contract requires us to report to the Taipei City government annually about how we contribute to the energy education in the school and the community. Actually, most of our benefits, the benefit for HUIF, I think most of around 80%, even 90% of our benefits are already donated to the school's energy education. And besides this, we have 24 citizens as investors with us. And they could share the profit from the electricity we sell annually. And I think the contract also protects the citizen and the Guandu Junior High School to have the right to share, no matter from the energy education or just from the profit itself. I hope this answered your question. Any more questions? We still have 8 minutes. Anyone? Or we all made our opinion crystal clear? Okay, thank you very much. If there's no more question, then I will make a brief conclusion to the conference. Okay, some people would ask if there any relation between energy transition and gender equality. I would say there are four main characters of citizen power projects: democratize, decentralize, decarbonize, and demonstrate. Among these four characters, democratize and decentralize are also the main characters of the gender equality. It is wonderful tonight to see women-led citizen power projects made systematically change for the whole society. They make citizens to be part of the energy transition much easier than ever. We hope there will be more women become the leader of energy transition in the future. And I believe this will help us to achieve the sustainable goals and towards a sustainable future. Thank you in advance for all our speakers tonight, and thank you all for listening. Wish you have a wonderful night and goodbye. Thank you.